Hello, Shaggles. Welcome back to Wrestling Forever. Look at this. Look at this. We are at full strength. He's back. Doctors work night and day to bring him back to us, my friends. And the miracle of modern science happened. Ryan Fitzsimons is back here on Wrestling Forever, the alternative wrestling podcast that you know you can't miss and you always love, even though more of you need to share it with your pals. Ryan, how the bloody hell are you?
Billy, I'm just so glad that you took control in the intro today because I do not have it in me to scream Wrestling Forever from the bottom of my lungs to the top of my throat. So it's nice to be back. I am at the back end of this horrid flu. I was speaking about it on my own channel the other night, how I've been fighting through it to make videos, but you took the reins and it was a great episode. I loved it. I sat and I edited it, so I had to listen to it anyway against my own will. It was great. It was good fun, but I remembered as I sat there editing, all I could think to myself is, damn, I missed out. So I'm back, and I'm looking forward to catching up on all things wrestling, because boy howdy, do we have a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do, and you were very much missed on the episode, my friend. Don't worry about it. That was the ramblings of a middle-aged man. That's all that was, with ADHD, which is not a good combination. You're lucky I didn't start talking about how it was in my day.
Back in your day, you wouldn't get racist wrestlers back in your day.
Oh no, back in my day, no. back
No way.
It was a black and white, and it wasn't a squared circle; it was a squared hexagon. Although then TNA brought it back, so that actually kind of works out. Lots we're going to get to. We are going to talk about Elimination Chamber, a big show that once again, and it's becoming a frequent thing, Ryan, is sneaking up on us. It seems with these PPVs and PPEs, sorry, I should say, and of course, lots to talk about the W and TNA. Although, do you talk about TNA and WWE separate these days? The argument rages on. A couple of big bits of news. One of the ones I want to get covered: the Hardy Boys.
Oh, yes.
Pretty much across the line, everyone's going, the Hardy Boys are back in WWE. It was great to see them on NXT. What a brilliant way to use them. They looked amazing. They looked fantastic. And I have to be saying, although it might not have been the big, huge pop of WrestleMania, and it's a tiny little place that NXT was taping in, but I loved it. I thought it was really good.
Yep.
Great to see the Hardys back on WWE TV, and I hope this relationship with TNA and them will continue.
Oh, it's nuts, Billy, because I have been the biggest critics of the Hardys for a while now. I have been I've been banging that drum of, it's time to go, boys. It's time to ride out in the sunset, leave it where it is. Their AEW run, I was like, oh God, they can barely move.
Shocking.
I don't know what's happened in the time since they've left AEW, went over to Impact TNA and done applied their trade over there, but they look like they have a new lease of life.
Yeah.
They look as though they are a completely different team from what we've seen, even towards the end of their WWE run. It's not just an AEW thing, but I remember towards the end of their WWE run, they were getting a bit stale and a bit hard to watch at times. But that was the best I've seen them in a while on Tuesday in NXT. They used them in a great way. The match was great. The appearance itself was great. God, Billy, even WWE do you not think it's weird they're making merchandise for two wrestlers who aren't WWE contracted? Well, I don't know if they've got Legends deals.
That is what I was wondering about, and I think it says a lot that WWE are doing that with the relationship with TNA, or is it the relationship with the Hardys? I mean, if WWE put out a Moose t-shirt and it was on sale at WWE.com, or it was on sale at live events, would people buy it? I'm not entirely convinced, to be honest.
Nah, probably not.
A fucking shocking spear. Don't even get me fucking started.
Listen, he's not. Let's be fair to him. He's not the only one. He's not the only one.
But I did watch it. I did watch it with his match with Lexus King, and I fucking hated it. Absolutely hated it. But it's great and I'm a big fan of Moose in general, but fuck me, stop doing the spear. Weren't you a football player, mate? Weren't you a football player that actually had to do spears? But in saying that, Hardy's, great use of them. Hope to see them continuing using this way. If WWE can, it's a different world now, we hope, with WWE. And if they can find a way to use the Hardys, maybe a main roster run in the right role could work. I mean, I would love.
Well, that's the thing. I've never had a hunger or an interest to see them back in the main roster. But if Tuesday nights told me anything, it's that maybe there is room for it somewhere down the line if they can keep up this kind of run that they're on just now. But what I will say in regards to that, and I think this is a big point to take from Tuesday, seeing Moose there, seeing the Hardys there in particular, it feels like NXT now is truly the third brand. And I know at one point it was the third brand, but it kind of reverted back to being that.
Yeah.
It went to NXT 2.0,
Yep.
lost a lot of steam.
Yep.
I see they've even dropped, I don't know if you've noticed, Billy, but they've dropped the NXT title from the pay-per-view names. So it's not NXT Stand and Deliver anymore. It's not NXT Roadblock. It's WWE Stand and Deliver. It's WWE Roadblock. It's WWE. So it looks as though they are properly spearheading this as the third brand. And right now, there's no argument about it. It's better than one of the main shows. It's better than SmackDown. SmackDown's got nothing going on. NXT, a lot going on. So I hope they continue building it. Use these guys like the Hardys, use these guys like Moose, and continue it as the third brand.
I've got to say, NXT was probably my show of the week so far.
Yeah,
I'm afraid to say I am including.
And I thought Raw was really good as well, to be fair. That's the thing.
I thought Raw was good, but I really enjoyed NXT. There was something about it. Yep. As mad as it sounds, I got all the feels and popped when Santino Marella came out to his music. I actually went, yes!
But how good a theme is it, though? Like, Jim Johnston was on fire that day when he wrote Santino Marella's theme.
Now let's talk very quickly about Ricky Saint's theme, which has been what's the name of the guys that do the themes just now? What is it again?
Def Rebel.
Fucking will you stop, man? They have that stupid bit of like whoever it is.
They need to speak before their entrance.
It's the revolution, bing, bing, and the theme is very similar to his AEW ones, but that Ricky Saints one is dog shit. Get better than that. Get Jim Johnson back. Get anyone back.
But do you know what I don't get? Right, there was rumours all of last year. Def Rebel's contract was coming to an end at the end of December. They were probably not going to get renewed. Then we got all of those stories about how wrestlers themselves were complaining backstage that their themes were shit. Yet they're still out here making themes. What is going on?
It's just if there's anyone out there that can just get in touch with Uncle Paul, Stephanie, absolutely anybody, and just have a word, man. They're so listless, and I think demonstrated by the huge pop that the Hardys got in Santino when he came out. I just went, I have missed that tune on TNA as well. It's so weird to see Santino Marella being Santino Marella with the name, but without that music. But I do enjoy the Director of Authority. I have to say there was a golden nugget of Santino amazement on NXT when he was running through members of the current NXT roster that he wanted to have in TNA.
My favourite name for the night was calling the Hardys the Hard Boys. I really enjoyed that. That was
funny
good
stuff, man. Funny stuff.
He's someone who, I mean, I've always remember seeing these. Would you put Santino in the Hall of Fame? Of course I would. I would put him in the Hall of Fame. I think he's one of the best comedy characters, one of the best jobbers, if you like, that WWE's ever seen. He deserves all the flowers. He's so good, so funny, so original as well, Billy.
And I love seeing this because for me, like, he's up there with, and this is no disrespect to the athleticism and the storytelling, and both men do, but for me, he's a lifer. Like, it's like that is a man that is able to just continuously have mileage and elevate everything he does. And I did not expect this to be a love letter to Santino Marella, but even that, like, as a comedian, man, I just enjoy it. As a wrestling fan, I enjoy it even more. There was a bit where he had a segment backstage with, I believe it was his daughter, and she goes, "Don't forget, we've got Benny Jens coming up," and he went, "It's his vengeance." And I got the pronunciation right, and it was like, chef's kiss.
It's just the nuance of what he does is just perfect. He's so good at it. He masters it. And you know what? It just summarises that episode of NXT in general. I think they've done so much right. Yeah. Just to come back to what you said as well, the arena, the crowd. I remember one of the very first episodes of Wrestling Forever that we'd done, what I said was I want to see NXT out of that performance centre as much as possible, moving it around, whether the venue's smaller or bigger than the performance centre, just get different feels. And I think that the two standout NXT episodes for me in recent memory are this week's in that Cincinnati arena, and the other one for me was the 2300 arena in Philadelphia. It was just unbelievable, and I love it. They get all these different venues, and the one that The Rock was at as well, the night after the Royal, or the week after Bad Blood or whatever it was, can't remember. These arenas, they elevate the show, Billy, and it gives NXT that special feel. It makes it feel different from Raw and SmackDown, and I love that.
And I'm very excited to see their pay-per-view. and they're still doing it. PPE. I'm still
Yes.
excited to see them at Madison Square Garden. That New York crowd, like, welcome them home, man. Let's go for it. It's a New York crowd. We're gonna see a surprise in New York. We're gonna see a surprise in New York. I get the feeling. Although in saying that, I didn't mind seeing TNA back in the Full Sail. That worked pretty well.
I miss Full Sail though. That's very different from the Performance Centre for me in the fact I actually did enjoy Full Sail, whereas Performance Centre I give it a kind of roll of the eyes.
There's something about it feels like a TV studio. Like, it really feels like a TV studio. But anyway, lots of other things to talk about. Of course, The Rock is returning. The Merchant of Menace or Mischief or whatever the hell we want to call him. Rock's starting to piss me off, Ryan.
I've been waiting to talk to you about The Rock because obviously I missed the opportunity last week to be on here when he announced his return. There was a lot of conversation as to what that return was going to be. So just to quickly fill in the blanks here for anybody who might for some reason be not in the know, he came back, had a segment with Cody Rhodes on SmackDown. He essentially asked Cody to be his champion. He wants him to fight on behalf of The Rock. But he's got a proposition for him. He's going to deliver it to him at Elimination Chamber on Saturday. He wants him to sell his soul to The Rock. So The Rock has taken on this role of the final boss, of course, over the past year. But now it seems like he's taking it to the next level, Billy. He wants to control Cody. He wants to be Cody's boss. He wants to have that full say over what's happening. Was it the turn that you expected from that segment on SmackDown? And where are you thinking right now?
One thing I'll say about this is The Rock is a fantastic talker. I'm not actually not burying The Rock, but fuck me, we need to have a little word on word economy, my friend, because he must have said, I want you to be my champion, I want to be your champion, I want to be my champion. Like, he must have said that like 20 times during that segment. It was like, fucking hell. So it felt clumsy, a little clumsy for The Rock, which you don't expect. Stunk of not being prepared. I'm going to say that much. Stunk of not being prepared. Which
I must admit, I didn't leave the segment as annoyed as what some people are. I actually left it going, okay, this is quite interesting. But I actually do agree with you in that point because there was bits in the segment where I was like, I feel like he's either repeated himself or he's just said something that makes completely no sense. He's turned up to the building 10 minutes before his segment and he's like, shit, I'll wing it. I'll wing it.
It's just me. It's always a dangerous thing in front of, I don't know, 20,000 people or whatever it is. Yes. But in saying that, it did open some questions. I'm not a big fan of them going into a press conference straight after it and him talking like Dwayne. Is that just adding another level to it? You okay, pal? It's just, I agree.
Sorry, my water went in the wrong way. I didn't mean that at all.
I was just for a second thinking like, oh my God, I'll get the Hall of Fame video ready just now for Ryan. We can get it out here.
10 bell salute on Sunday at the asylum.
And then you come out.
God, then I come out. Oh,
how lucky would that be? And now, please welcome Ryan Fazan.
It would be quite cruel, wouldn't it? It would be quite cruel. Sorry, I feel like I've knocked you right off your stride there.
No, do you know, it's something, ironically, I feel like I was starting to repeat myself.
But what you were saying was the press conference being Dwayne.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you brought this up because there was a tweet that's done a lot of traction. I got a lot of traction. It was Dwayne tweeting. As Dwayne, where he said, thanks for watching the show, we got some destructive moves coming up, so tune in, love playing this audacious, unpredictable character known as the final boss. And people are fuming, like, can you just play the character without telling us that it's a character? Like, so he's came out in that press conference pretending as if, like, nothing's happened. He's been on Twitter, Instagram, all the rest of it, pretending like nothing's happened. It's and do you know what annoys me most about that, Billy? Not to pick at things here, but what annoys me, it's a complete 180 from this time last year. Remember last year, he would come out on Raw, he'd come out SmackDown, he'd give us a final boss segment, and then he would go on social media and do these 10-minute promos as the final boss. But now he's back. Now he's gone home and being Dwayne on Twitter. So I know that he's got other commitments and stuff at the minute, and WWE might not be his sole focus as it was this time last year. But you don't need to tell us it's a character. Keep it going. Run with it online and keep the novelty of it going.
And you're exactly right. I don't know if there's been a case of maybe management's got involved, maybe from a business side, it's just a case of I can't play this guy 24/7. I mean, no, by no means doing a comparison, but I can't keep kayfabe on some of the stuff I do. So, you know, it's It's very difficult. It's very difficult. Let's put it that way. And there's been a couple of times wrestlers have said, "Oh, can I do such and such?" It's like, I don't think it's going to really work, pal, because then I'm fucking off to a gig and it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
And by no means I'm doing a comparison. All I can think of, like, that might be it for The Rock. It's a case of, well, listen, man, you've got like $100 million movie coming out. We still want to make sure we're protecting your appeal to the general populace. You've got like a tequila company. You've got all these things. You need to continue being Dwayne and reminding people that you're playing a character. It's also where we are in 2025 wrestling. Do I like it? Not really, if I'm honest.
I guess that's the only thing I could say to caveat the point that I made in regards to it annoys me a wee bit is the curtain is so far gone that it's like, right, our intelligence has been insulted enough. We know that it's all we know it's all fake. Like, it's not at the end of the world. But
I choose to believe it's part of it. Like when God, when I go and see when you go and see a movie, the pictures, like, you believe these people are in space in Star Wars. You know, you believe that the Na'vi are real in Avatar. You know, so that's kind of where we are. But James Cameron would never, I guess, go on like social media and go like, "Oh, we're just back from the planet." Like, he wouldn't do that. So I can kind of take The Rock's point of that as that, or is it just another way of getting across an obnoxious Hollywood-like character?
There's different ways to look at it, isn't there?
Let's wait and see how this. I think. Let's play out, which is exactly what we were saying this time last year. Let's play out. We've had lots of things coming up. Corporate Punk, that was a name that came up once or twice. Some people are crying out for Punk to turn heel, though realistically he's probably the second biggest babyface in the company. Don't disrespect to any of the other babyfaces out there, but he's just behind Cody. As far as I read it, he's just behind Cody.
I agree.
So I think we need to let this play out. I don't like the idea of, and I think a lot of the stories we're getting fed are horseshit. People are angry about The Rock turning up and disrupting issues. It's like, I don't know if they are.
Do you believe that this was all planned, or do you think it has been a proper? So all these conflicting reports seem to suggest, oh well, one person's coming out and saying, no, this has been planned, this was always going to happen, this was the plan for Mania since months ago, and it's what's meant to happen. So people are like, okay, they're feeding this nonsense to other places saying that folk are unhappy because it adds to the story. Or do you genuinely believe he has turned up at the last minute, disrupted stories, and that there is some unhappiness backstage? Or could it be a bit of both?
I'll say this much: every second of WWE's output is tens of thousands of dollars. Right, every second. So, and I just don't think he phones on a Monday afternoon and goes, "I'm coming to Raw. I've decided I'm going to do WrestleMania." Or maybe, and I could see it. They would have to plan for the eventuality. Maybe they did have other plans. It's like, oh no, we're going for the Rock route. And I guess it's not inconceivable that the Rock could pull a "doesn't work for me, brother," depending on what their ideas are, you know. So yes, I did just compare him to Hulk Hogan, and he's
Hulk Hogan.
It is.
I mean, if there's anybody who's close to comparing him to, it's probably the right way to go.
It's probably exactly so.
Probably the closest.
I think we're just going to have to let this one play out. If we ended up with some stinking main events or stinking uppercard matches for WrestleMania, that'd be a real disappointment for amongst the fans. Although this is it. Does it disappoint me and you, Ryan? But the people that have bought WrestleMania tickets, and to little kids, teenagers, new fans, to the casual viewer, are they just tuning in and going, "No, this is fine. This is what The Rock's on telly. I don't really give a shit." Innit?
I think for me, this is all some. I genuinely do believe deep down that somewhere along the line this was meant to happen, and I think it would maybe explain a lot of the kind of unpredictable and questionable booking that there's been over the past couple of months. G winning the Rumble, not having a clear idea of what the title matches are going to be at Mania. I think now that The Rock is here, it makes a lot more sense as to why that was maybe the case, because they have been playing into the whole, well, Rock's going to come in and sort things out. The only thing I will say to kind of combat my own point in that is, I still think there has been questionable decisions along the way as to why we're here now. Why did he come out at the end of Bad Blood and have that segment that's still not been explained? Why did he come on to Monday Night Raw in the first episode of Netflix and cut a complete Dwayne Johnson promo and have no other? So is it the deceiving Rock who has been carefully plotting his way to the moment he is now? Or is it just WWE not really sure of where it was going to end up? It's so hard to tell, but I guess that's why we wait till Saturday. This segment on Elimination Chamber might explain a lot, and we might have a good idea as to whether or not we really like where it's going or we really hate where it's going.
You've nailed it right there. We need some resolution. We need some resolution at some point about what's happened. So I guess we'll just sit back and wait and see.
Yeah. I do feel vindicated ever so slightly, because I remember, and I said this before, I remember leaving Wells Fargo Centre Monday Night Raw, Philadelphia, and I said to Scott, my best mate, I was like, this is it. It's Cody and Rock next year at Mania. And I don't know if that's still, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I knew it there and then, and now they're here having this thing on Saturday, and I'm like, well, you know.
Didn't enjoy the whole thing at the press conference going like, we don't need to wrestle to tell a story. It's like, be nice if we wrestled though.
It's called World Wrestling Entertainment, Dwayne.
It's like the idea of you turning up for a couple of months and then fucking off doesn't really work in that respect. But, okay, who knows? We'll wait and see. Talking about wait and see rumors, this one can already get shot down. So at the start of the week, there was talk that Vince McMahon was getting back into the wrestling business. Apparently, he partnered up with Fox. Fox have come out and said, a spokesman has going, we're not in the wrestling business, and we're not in the wrestling business currently with Vince McMahon. I've got to say this, it doesn't make, how can he be getting into the wrestling business without a big needle moving name? Right, he's going to need some names in there. I think we would hear about these guys signed up, and I can't think of who it was going to be. I'd heard he'd
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Oh my God! Imagine. He's bought production facilities. He's maybe just still considering what his next move might be if there's indeed any moves. And Vince has always fancied himself for doing some business outside of pro wrestling. So it's not inconceivable that he would get in as a wrestling company, which would certainly be trouble for AEW, if nothing else. I think this is horseshit. I think this is total horseshit.
Look, listen, I have no doubt in my mind that Vince McMahon has plans to do something in the world of entertainment before he croaks it. I think that he wants to go out on something to I don't even think to necessarily try and put away all of these allegations and court cases. I think he's a sick bastard, right? We know he's not exactly trying to hide something, but I think he wants something to go out on and leave his legacy on, because WWE isn't his anymore.
Yeah.
We've seen him try the World Bodybuilding Federation. We've seen him try the XFL. I don't know if it'll be exactly sport, wrestling related, whatever, but I do believe he'll do something. However, I'm glad to see that these rumours have been shot down. I just don't think there's a place in 2025 for a Vince McMahon wrestling show, and I don't even know what that kind of wrestling show would entail. Now, as you said, would it? The sad thing is, it probably would spell danger for AEW, and I don't say that as like a kind of cheap shot at AEW or anything, but the amount of intrigue there would be behind Vince doing another wrestling show, the amount of supporters he still somehow has anyway that would probably watch the show.
Vince is going to have a hell of a black book in terms of phone numbers. Do you know what I mean? He's going to have a hell of a book and a hell of a contact list. So it could move things. I thought it was interesting because a lot of this apparently came from the 83 Weeks podcast.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff
and Conrad Thompson, who don't tend to be loose-tongued with stuff like that. And if they haven't had it confirmed, or what's the phrase they always say? Is it rumor and innuendo? I think that's it. Rumor and innuendo, which I'm still not convinced it's being used correctly. But moving on, it's weird. So maybe there's been movement. Maybe there's. I wonder if this is something small that's going into something big. Has Vince reached out to somebody that he's worked with before in WWE that maybe isn't there anymore, and someone's going, aha, he's getting back into the wrestling business? Where it could be, like you say, it could be like the XFL, WBF crossover. It's American football played by bodybuilders. That is what it's going to be. It's going to be shinty. He's getting into the shinty business. That's what it is.
Well, as of this morning, Dave Meltzer commented on it. I know Dave is not exactly the most reliable source nowadays.
He does himself no favours. He does himself
every one of his marbles. But he said this morning he's not starting a new wrestling promotion. I can tell you that. He's starting an entertainment company. There was a lot of stuff floating around yesterday of him starting a wrestling company, and those close to him say, no, that is not happening. So it looks as though the entertainment company is still happening. So, I wonder what it'll be. I don't wish him any luck, to be quite honest. And I wonder, I mean, this court case isn't even done yet. However, I know that there's a lot there's been a lot of talk about that the last couple of weeks, how the case was amended, WWE were involved, and God knows what's happening with all of it. But we'll see what happens. I suppose
it sounds like it's moving towards private mitigation. I believe they want they want to do it publicly with awards being Janelle Grant. That's a Janelle Grant. You're going to be awarded like $100 million or something like that. That's what these guys really want. And again, this is not a knock at Miss Janelle and the horrible situations that she may have had to go through. I say that because we're not one sued, not because I believe or disbelieve anybody. I want to make that very clear. But I think they're trying to move the WWE and Vince McMahon, because let's not forget the WWE are still a part of this court case and a couple of other court cases, actually. They're still a part of this court case, and I think they're looking for private, it's mitigation or something like that. It's basically they want offers to get made and see that this can kind of go away. Now that Vince McMahon seems to be all clear of the federal side of things for the moment.
Which always happens at the top end. When billionaires get involved and money's there, they just want it to go away.
They just want it to go away. So, again, I wish nobody luck apart from the innocent party, and you know who you are. So, moving on.
We'll let you guys guess.
We'll let you guys figure that one out. All I'm going to say is always believe the victim. Right, okay, let's move on. A good one here. I just wanted to throw this one in. It's chucking a whole load of love to WWE Vault, right? Now, I say that because wrestling fans were on a budget. We're paying for Netflix. We're delighted we're not having to pay for WWE Network anymore. We're paying for Netflix, who's putting up their prices again in April, along with every other country, I dare say.
Of course.
Vodafone sent me a message yesterday going, "Oh, good news, your bill is going up." It's like, go fuck yourself. But they're currently chucking a whole bunch of extra content, stuff that had previously had a life on the network. They're chucking it onto WWEvault.com, from old VHSs, reminding you how amazing some of those talents were, to some up-to-date stuff as well in like the last 10 years. So I got to say, much love to WWE. Have you checked any of that out?
Oh, mate, I love it. It's a great channel. Even a couple of days ago, they put up the best of Gunther and Evolve, obviously, when he was Walter.
Oh, wow, brilliant.
It was like an hour and 20 minutes long, just some of his best matches in Evolve. And I was like, this is the kind of thing that not even 10, but even 3 years ago, you would never have imagined WWE actually getting involved in. I'm just scrolling through the channel just now, and some of the stuff there that is available to watch is crazy. If you have not found out about it yet for any reason, get involved with the channel, because it's unreal. They're uploading so many Elimination Chamber matches at the minute, because of course that is this weekend. They've got so many classic Raw matches, Royal Rumble matches, everything, and even like the old they upload a lot of the documentaries that they've done.
Some of the
a few weeks ago,
fantastic.
I watched it was from like 2010, 2009 maybe. They've done the Batista, the Animal documentary. It was fantastic. I watched that the other day because it's up there in full. It's a great channel, Billy. It's a fantastic channel.
It really is. So if you're a wrestling fan on a budget and you want to go check some of that, you're just maybe missing the network, got to go check that out. I'll tell you what, if you're a new school wrestling fan, I have to recommend, there's a copy of the VHS on there, which is called Smack 'em Whack 'em. It's a whole bunch, it's like compilation matches from like primetime wrestling and lots of other things. Main event on that cassette, or I should say recording, whatever we'll call it.
Cassette? What's a cassette?
Well, that's it. I'm trying to think of how you would word something that was on cassette that is now on YouTube. I'm not sure what the term is, but there's a ladder match: Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, the first one ever in WWE, may I add, and it is a stone cold belter. You have to go and check it out. It is fantastic. Right, it is that time. I was quickly going to ask, did you have a clown of the week? If anyone was,
I actually do have. I have not just a clown, but a clowns of the week.
Oh wow!
Billy.
Let's see.
Clowns of the week.
I haven't got a jingle yet. Let me see what I've got for a clown of the week.
Have you got something?
It's the best I've got. I've just got a fart.
Well, do you know what? It works for this week. So I am so sorry to AEW that I have to throw them under the bus like this. But my clowns of the week are the AEW production team. I could not believe when I saw on AEW the other day. Did you see it when they cut backstage to Claudio Was it Claudio Castagnoli? Let me just watch. Yeah, when they cut backstage and they catch him blading.
Oh no! You're joking!
Catch him blading.
I missed that.
So I will send you the link over, right? And you can, if you want, you can watch it in real time while I talk about it, right? Here you go. I'm going to send you the link over just now because I've had it up on my screen already. And there's surely somebody
Big shout out
backstage.
to on X.com, and trust me, there's not going to be many more shout outs like that. I was just going to say big shout out for AEW Disciplinary Committee.
Disciplinary committee.
Oh, it's not Claudio. It's
not Claudio. It's I just seen
Fallen
bald.
Angel, Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, Christopher Daniels. So they cut back to Christopher Daniels. And so I've been in a rush all morning looking at it. So they cut back to Christopher Daniels and they catch him blading. And I'm like, so like there's got to be somebody in the production team that has a monitor on before they cut. Listen, we are so lucky at ICW. We work with some very talented production members, headed up by Adam. It's a great production team. And this is the kind of thing that they would never let happen in a million years. So how on earth is it happening on AEW television that we are seeing this? Now, mistakes happen. I get it. You can't be perfect.
Yeah.
Things will happen. Camera cuts will go accidentally early. You'll show something you don't want to show. But you can't show something as you can't show this. You can't show this.
Now, to the average person, they're not going to be entirely sure what's going on, right?
Yep.
That's a fair comment, but fuck it. It's the fact that he's exhausted. He's going to be out. So you can forgive so much, right? You can make an excuse for anything. Whereas the fact he's meant to be out, but he goes and then goes like that.
Yep.
So what was he doing?
Yep.
Like you're passed out, but you know, Ryan, I don't know if you've ever been passed out or something like that, or when you're fast asleep, when you suddenly have a burst of energy, and, and then you go when you're scratching your head. Just so happens you're doing it with a blade. Oh, that's awful.
It's bad. I'd like to I wasn't actually watching live this week, so when I got sent the clip over, I actually did think it was Claudio at first, so I'm glad you pointed out it was Christopher Daniels. I only watched it a few times round. But
Chris can't know that's coming. So that means...
No, of course not. I don't blame the I do not put an ounce of blame on Christopher Daniels for that. Christopher Daniels is one of the biggest professionals of the last 20 years. He's been almost perfect in his wrestling career. He wouldn't be silly to do something like this. It's obviously you can see that the camera's not in place. The camera is still getting into position. You can see the camera actively moving to get into position. So somebody somebody in the truck, there Kevin Dunn, whoever that might be, has said switch to the camera without taking a minute to realise it's not in place, we're not ready for the shot, it's been rushed. And these are and I am such a big advocate of success. AEW, do you know what? It's sad because AEW over the past month has been fantastic, so I don't want to overshadow what they've been doing. They have been great, their storytelling's been great, the matches have been great, the product has picked up in general. But if they ever want to be on a par with WWE, they need to have the production levels of a WWE leveled company. And I know that they're not on that level yet, but you've got to get the basics right, and that's a huge error to make. Huge.
Yeah, it's absolutely massive. They've completely fumbled that. Was it Tony though? They completely fumbled that. Oh, for God's sake! It's
hard to watch.
It is hard to watch. I was trying to see if there was a live edit of it here, or have they fixed it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
They fixed it in the edit. They fixed it in the edit.
Fix it in the edit. Right,
so what that is the live one. Although I will say, I'm looking at the edit. I can see his arm moving. I can see it still doesn't look quite right, but I mean, it does look better. It does look noticeably better. So good to AEW.
You can't actually see him going for it.
No, you can't see him going for it, but good to AEW to clear that up.
Because one of the things that is always... I remember going back to AEW All In at Wembley, the first All In at Wembley, and I remember people on camera catching Punk under the desk blade, and I'm like... I get that's a cool video for you to catch and all the rest of it, but it's shit. I'm like, stop sharing that shit, let them do what they need to do, and like, don't ruin the illusion for people. And it really annoyed me that video got out, that somebody took that and did it. Maybe it's just the old school wrestling fan in me, I don't know, but I was just so annoyed. I was like, the guy is doing his best to hide the job that he's doing to make the match better and more visually appealing, and people are sitting going, "Oh, I've got it in camera," and sharing it everywhere. And I hate that shit.
I do love this message that is below it, and it's from Anthony D'Amico, who has said, "I love y'all, but you can't have shit like this happening." it's true. And Anthony, it's what we're all feeling. Come on. I will also say, I couldn't believe this when I saw it this morning. So there's a news story that MGF is getting his AEW tattoo removed.
Oh, is he?
Apparently he's getting his, and believe it or not, AEW have actually been putting that out on their social media.
So is it a work? Is it a shoot? Is it a
They must be using it as a work now in some respects, but
yeah?
I did find myself going like, I thought it was bad when I saw it when he came back. So I'm still kind of like, is this the payoff? Like, I don't really know. And is he getting really removed or just covered with makeup?
God,
oh,
God.
what a tit! What a tit!
Yep. It's a good way to put it, Billy. It's a good way to put it.
What a tit! Right, we got to talk about Elimination Chamber, my man. We got to talk about Elimination Chamber. It is this weekend, snuck up on us. It is not. We used to say Elimination Chamber was the last stop before WrestleMania, but as WrestleMania is, oh fuck me, it is just over. It is just over a month away. It is just over a month away. So we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna have 4 or 5 Raws. We're gonna.
I think we've got and remember, Billy, 4, 5. I think there's actually 6 Raws left, and 4 of them are in Europe. Remember.
4 of them are in Europe. That's right, including the one in Glasgow. Oh my God, is The Rock coming to Glasgow? No, but he's not the
But we're getting CM Punk though. We're getting John Cena, he'll be there.
Come on, John. Now's the time to make that ICW appearance, mate. Now's the time. Last time. This is it. This is it, John. This is it. Can we get John Cena?
You've got his number. You've got him in the black book.
This is it. Oh, we follow each other on Twitter. Best pals. Best pals.
So he follows me as well. Hey.
Right. So, it's quite funny when I've shown that to folk and they went, ooh, and I went, hang on a wee second though. He's got all the people he's followed. And you go,
follows about 900,000 people.
This guy's a butcher in fucking Kilside. You know what I mean? Good on him though. Good on him. I appreciate the follow, John. Don't defollow us. That'd be embarrassing. Right. Let's talk Elimination Chamber, mate. Lots going on.
Well, I'm really looking forward to Elimination Chamber. They've turned it round big time, because after the Royal Rumble, I really didn't have a lot of excitement going into Mania season. And a lot of that was down to the fact I didn't think Chamber was going to be great, but it really has turned into a decent show. So let's dive through the card, shall we, bit by bit, and we'll come to Cody and Rock last. We'll predict what might happen in that segment at the very end. So let's start with the match that's there for fun. It's not exactly a match that's there for big stakes or big prizes. Tiffany Stratton teams with Trish Stratus in Toronto to take on Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Billy, I think we all know what way this match is going.
Well, here's the thing, and I kind of said this with on last week's sort of solo show, is I'm not totally convinced Tiff is ready for a big babyface run. She's just become you become a big babyface by default.
Babyface overnight, babyface.
And I don't really know how I feel about that, to be honest. I think I'd rather see Trish Stratus taking on Charlotte in Mania if I was completely beat. Or just, I'd rather see that match, because it would be, I don't know, Charlotte taking on the legends of the past or what have you. I don't know. From
a storytelling point of view, I think you're right. There would be something more there. I guess the way to look at it is, at least we know the match between Tiffany and Charlotte should be amazing.
Should be amazing.
Don't quite know if the story will be there.
Yeah, both incredible athletes. Do you know what it was? I think I said this, like, I was really enjoying watching Tiffany Stratton as a heel. The chemistry with her and Nia Jax was fantastic. It was phenomenal. I was really enjoying it, and now it's gone, and it's like, oh right, okay, well we're dialing into this now, and I just don't know. It reminds me of WWE of old. It's like, it feels like you've put the title on, and now this person's a babyface, and it doesn't quite click. People ask me about why I've said that all the time. See, if you go back to when John Cena became WWE champion, it was a big change. And John Cena's a face didn't quite click straight away. You know, it was different when he was on the undercard. But then when you become champion, everything kind of changes a little bit. And I was worried about that with Cody, and a lot of that is just kickback from people going, oh, look at Cody and all that. So this should be a star-making babyface opportunity for Tiffany Stratton. That's what this needs to be. No disrespect to anyone else in the match. Everyone's bloody talent, but this should be star-making for her to legitimize her going into WrestleMania, because Charlotte has such an aura and is so polarizing. It's hard not to look at her. It's hard not to be going, Well, it is hard to look at her, but that's because she's had too much surgery. Sorry, you might think that's a cunt comment, but tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
She does look so different, doesn't she?
It
She looks
is.
so different.
It's sore to look at. Like
she's muffing into her dad in front of her very eyes.
Well, that was the thing. It's like there's no way you needed more work done. I mean, you were a very handsome woman, and now it's kind of like, oh, you know, a little bit like.
Well, listen, look, Billy, allies to them all. You know, I stand with their decisions.
Different horses for different causes. I could have phrased that better. I think we'll agree. But you know what I mean?
No, I get you. There's a lot there.
I don't get. She's look, breaking that down. This is me acknowledging that. If that's what she feels she wants to do, then it's her body to do with what she will. And for me to make funny as a comedian because it's in my nature. Okay, that is fair enough. But I make fun of myself before I'll make fun of anybody else. So please don't.
Oh no, Billy, don't you worry, son.
But
we all get it.
What I mean by that is she has an incredible presence. She is the queen, and this feels like this is getting fumbled going into Mania. We need to be building Tiffany Stratton, and I've got to say, if I was to throw a WrestleMania prediction in, I want to see Tiff winning. I think I need to see Tiff winning.
Oh, yeah. This is a huge opportunity for WWE to do the right thing. Yeah. Do what Vince McMahon wouldn't do, and that's put a star over in this situation. What I will say is, in regards to this tag match, I actually think they've played their cards right, pairing her with Trish, because this is, as you said, a huge babyface making moment. Yeah. You're teaming up with arguably the greatest woman to ever do it, in her hometown on the road to WrestleMania. There is no better way to get that babyface cheer, to get that babyface pop than put her with Trish Stratus. So I think it works pretty well. Now, obviously, we will see some Charlotte shenanigans, whether it's during or after the match. I'm assuming there will be some form of confrontation between Tiffany and Charlotte. Will it cost them the match? No, I doubt it. I'm sure that Trish is probably going to pick up a win in her hometown. So as for my prediction, Billy, I'm going for Tiffany and Trish.
Cool. Although, can I add a caveat onto it? What I'd actually quite like to see. I'd actually quite like to see them win. And I would kind of like to see Tiff have a little on Trish. There, I've said it.
Oh, right. Okay. Right.
It's Tiffy time. It's Tiffy time.
Right. It's Mrs. Bar moment. You know?
Yeah, I don't need some old sad sack like you turning up. Although I don't know, has anyone else noticed that is it me or is Trish Stratton's head getting smaller every time?
Smaller? I've never noticed her head getting smaller.
I think it's because like our hair is so gorgeous and flowing. Like the last time I was like, she's got a tiny heat. She's got a really tiny.
Fair play. It's a very, very obscure observation to make, but I love it. It's very obscure.
It's just, I'm worried about her. Stop doing yoga on your head. Fair enough. Oh my god! Like I know we briefly, jokingly talked about aesthetics, but doesn't Trish Stratus look amazing? She looks like
she gets better with every year that passes by. Billy, she ages like a fine wine. Like it's crazy.
A wee bit of bump fast tonic. That's what we want. What we got next, my friend?
Back on to the singles action. Back on to the singles action. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens in an unsanctioned match. May I just say very quickly, I fucking hate unsanctioned matches. What is the point? It's wrestling. You're not fooling anybody. Of course it's fucking sanctioned. You've put it on your show. It annoys me.
We don't want to get injured because we can't ever do it on the company's time. Why? Because you might fire them. Hey, listen, WWE would never do that apart from all the people they've just let go that were injured. Like, sorry guys, both ends of the spectrum here. We need to figure that bad boy out. I kind of get what you're saying. Why not call it an all holes barred match?
Yeah. Anything. Fucking street fight, Extreme Rules, anything.
What does that mean, Adam Pearce? Does that mean you're not going to send down the first aiders? Like, what the fuck? Well, technically, this has nothing to do with the company, so they don't even get entrance music. We just let them walk out the ring. So how exactly does that work? But hey, listen, it's a little bit of excitement. It's meant to take you to the next level. And these are two guys that can go. My prediction for this one is I think Sami is going to get brutalized.
Okay,
I think he's going to get brutalized. I think this is going to be short and sharp. They've already laid the groundwork that he is not 100%. I think, and the reason I think it needs to be like that, like if this match could go to WrestleMania, if it could, just out there, if it could, it'd be a bit of business for both men. If this match goes to WrestleMania, I don't know what the stakes are. Is it a career match? Is it a chance for Sammy and Kevin to continue a storyline? Sammy trying to get back into WWE. Kevin, like, who knows? I get the feeling. Will it be a competitive match? I don't know. If it were, it's going to steal the show. Like, it will steal the show if it is.
100%. The match of the year.
Yeah, I get a feeling this might be short, sharp, and shocking. Is what this might be.
Nice. We have different opinions going into this, which is
cool.
good. I like that.
Good.
We have different.
So by that respect, I'm going to go with Kevin.
You're going with Kevin. I'm also going with Kevin, but I'm not going for Kevin in the same reasons that you're going for Kevin. Okay. I do think we are going to get a 35-40 minute barn burner here.
Okay, for what it's worth, I kind of hope so.
Because
we're wrestling point of view.
My thinking of it is, what is next for both of them at WrestleMania, and what's logically next for both of them at WrestleMania? I can see where you're coming from, and to a point, I can see it happening. But at the same time, like, surely they could have held off on this match till Mania rather than giving us it first at Chamber. So, and there's somebody waiting in the wings who I think might be Kevin's opponent at Mania, and that's Randy Orton. So I think we might get Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn in a very competitive 35-40 minute match. Kevin Owens wins by killing Sami Zayn at the end, and then we get the return of Randy Orton. I'm back to get you, you bastard. You've kept me on the shelf. You've broke my neck. I'll see you at WrestleMania. But in saying that, what happens with Sami Zayn at Mania then? Does he face Karrion Kross? Does he do something else? Does he get... What happens to Sami going into Mania? That's the biggest question.
I completely forgot about Karrion Kross. I completely forgot. And that's terrible because he's doing amazing stuff just now. That one's intriguing. That one is very, very intriguing. Both scenarios I like. Karrion Kross being in there as well. Ooh. Oh, God.
So there's a lot that can happen. And that's what I like about this match. There's so much to predict, yet so much you could get so wrong. Yeah. And I think what I'm hoping for the most is one of my favourite wrestling matches of all time. Granted, this isn't a ladder match. Is Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, the ladder war at Ring of Honor final battle. One of my favourite matches ever. Well, El Generico versus Kevin Steen, I should say. And I want them to deliver a match of that level. I want them to deliver a match of that level this Saturday. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Whatever happens, I'm willing to see where the story takes it. Whether that is the way that you've said it, a brutalisation of Sami Zayn and it's done quite quickly, or if it's a storytelling masterpiece that lasts the best part of an hour. I just want something that keeps me hanging on at the end of the match going, what is next?
Do you know what? Whatever the outcome, if we can find a way that has a bit of business for both men to do at WrestleMania, I'll be very happy. Happy. Randy versus Kevin would be great. Karrion versus Sammy would be great. It could be a way of putting Karrion Kross over, like doing that last little bit, putting him over at WrestleMania over Sammy.
Yep. And I want that.
I'd be into it. He's for me, as a top draw act. You know what I mean?
I'm a big Karrion fan.
He just needs to find his Drew McIntyre factor. Just needs to find it. And I get the feeling we're drifting towards that. Big fan of Karrion Kross. I would love to see that. And I'm sure that's going to be a great match. Right, what else do we have, sir?
So both of us so far are on the same predictions. We have Kevin Owens, we have...
Very different reasons, which is hilarious, isn't
it? Yes. However, this is where we might change up because we're into the chamber matches. There is 6 people to choose from. Yes. First chamber match is to determine the number 1 contender for Rhea Ripley's World Championship to fight at WrestleMania 41. It's Liv Morgan versus Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss versus Bayley versus Naomi versus Roxanne Perez. Billy, a huge match, some great talent, and I don't know who I think is going to win, but let me just start by saying I really bloody want Roxanne Perez to win.
I'll be honest, I'm annoyed that Chelsea Green's not in this match. I want to make that just clear straight away. I'm just annoyed about it. In fact, I'm pretty much annoyed that Chelsea Green is not in all the matches on this card, but never mind that.
Especially being in Canada as well.
Especially being in Canada. There's money here. Come on. Love it. Love this. What a great selection of talents. What a brilliant selection of talents. The idea of Liv locking up with Alexa Bliss after all this time is very, very exciting. Lots of brilliant combinations on there, but yeah, you're right. It is a hard one to pick. You got to wonder who's got the most buzz. You got to ask that question, right? Who has the most buzz? We don't need to see Liv Morgan versus Rhea again.
No, we don't. We really do not need that, Billy.
You could have cooled that down and then brought that back.
What can I make a quick comment though?
Off.
Yeah, can I make a quick comment though? All due respect to Liv Morgan in this situation, because I think she's had a magnificent year.
Yeah.
Of course, now just won the tag titles. Remember her and Raquel.
And see the combination with her and Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
That's Diesel and Sean. Fucking go with it.
Yeah, it works. Oh, 100%. And I just want to give a big shout out to the Liv Morgan. I'm not giving her shade in the sense that I don't want to see her be in a match like this at Mania. I just don't want her and Rhea again. But Liv Morgan has had such a good year that she deserves those type of world title matches. So I'm not against her being in a world title match. We've seen her versus Rhea enough for a year.
Yeah. Her doing tag stuff, I think. Let them build that division. Build the division around them. I'm on board with that, and I've said before, I'm a big fan of Raquel Rodriguez. I feel this combining her with Liv and the chemistry they have fantastic chemistry, and clearly Liv Morgan is invested in Raquel Rodriguez. You know what I mean? So I'd say let these girls cook. Let them see what they've got. I think we've got a main event caliber tag team here in the women's division. We haven't. We have almost, but they weren't allowed to get into the main event. We've had a main event caliber tag team that weren't allowed to. I think that's the time. I think this is the time. So, but they need opponents, Ryan. They need opponents. So let's take the next 6 weeks and build that up for them for Mania. So with that respect, Liv Morgan's out for me.
It seems to be that the favourite of the. It seems the favourite is Bianca to win this match. She seems to be the favourite by quite a bit to win this match. It seems to be the online favourite as well. Now, what I will say to that is I always assumed that this Mania was set up to have Bianca versus Jade Cargill.
Might
still be, but a lot of people at the same time thinking it might be Naomi versus Jade Cargill at Mania. So a couple of routes they could go down. Billy, I don't know who I predict. This is Jade. I could be safe. And go for Bianca. But do you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm putting my neck out there. I'm going for the one I want to see win. I'm going for bloody Roxanne Perez. There you go. There's my prediction. Give us the shock. Give us the shock.
I want to see it. I want to see it because for me, the cool thing about this match is this could be fragmented into so many amazing matches. I don't think it does anything for Liv. Alexa versus Rhea is, I don't hate it. But
I just don't think she's quite world title yet, is she?
It just feels like it's kind of like, boom, there it is, you know? So with that respect, I have taken out 3 of the 6. So we've only got Bianca and...
Bianca, Bayley and Naomi, is that what you're doing? Or Roxanne?
I love Bayley, but that's for lots of reasons. I think Bayley's got
tough.
Business.
Yeah, Bayley's just off the back of winning the title at last year's Mania.
And they fumbled that.
Yeah.
Unless the storyline was going to be, I didn't get the world title run that I wanted. So now I'm here to get it. But I just don't feel that's the story. So
I don't think there's a hunger for that at the minute.
I think we talked about the Rumble. I like a surprise. Give me a surprise on this one. I can't pick it, although I kind of lean towards Roxanne Perez. So there we go.
I just think that Roxanne, arguably, over the past 12 months, has been the best woman in wrestling. One of it's outside Toni Storm. Storm, arguably, Roxanne has been the best woman in wrestling this past year. So I'd throw the reward at her, man. I don't know. I would just love to see it. I'd love to see it.
Love it. Right, what have we got? Oh, and then we're into it. Fuck me, it's just a short card, isn't it?
Yeah, 4 matches plus the Dwayne and Cody segment, unless something gets announced on SmackDown. Who knows? Maybe there's a chance Chelsea Green gets a match.
Come on, Chelsea! Come on, Chelsea!
So, the main event match, before we talk about that segment, is the Elimination Chamber to determine the number 1 contender for Cody Rhodes' WWE Championship. John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Damian Priest, and Seth freaking Rollins.
Right.
Billy, does this kind of tie into what happens with Dwayne and Cody? What do you think we should cover first? Do you have any theories? I guess it could. Fuck. We're hearing all the stuff about corporate man Punk.
Yeah.
We're hearing all the stuff about Cody potentially becoming the corporate man and facing whoever wins this chamber. I think the two most likely scenarios from the end of the end of Elimination Chamber is we either get corporate man Punk versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, or we get Cody selling his soul to Dwayne and taking on one of two winners in the chamber. And those two winners for me would be John Cena or CM Punk, but they would remain the big face in the match. But if Cody was to sell his soul to Dwayne, let's just hypothetically say he does sell his soul to Dwayne, are WWE going to take that gamble and turning Cody heel? I don't know. This is like Cena all over again. It's just, he's a money-making machine.
Yep.
He's an idol to the kids. His character has been built on standing up to The Rock for the past year. For him suddenly to be side by side with him, that's a huge gamble. It's a massive gamble.
I'd love to see Homelander Cody. I think I've made that clear.
So would I.
I'd love to see Homelander Cody. It would be amazing. But if you do that, you don't need The Rock. You don't need him.
It would just be a puppet. And I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that.
You wouldn't need him.
Do you remember? Have you watched The Boys?
Yes, it's fine.
See, like season 1 when Homelander is constantly sucking at the teat of his mother. That would be like Homelander Cody to The Rock. The Rock would be his mother. He'd be sucking at his metaphorical teat.
I don't think anyone needs to see that. Fuck. Right, here's the thing. We could see a surprise. And Seth Rollins could fuck someone over.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is a place where Seth Rollins is. He is moany. He is belligerent. He comes across as being bitter, I would even say. And that's all kind of bubbling under. So could you find yourself in a position where it looks like it's Cody or Cena, I beg your pardon, it's Punk or Cena going to win, and he pins Cena?
Wow.
Which would be a huge heel move. A huge heel move, I think. And then either Punk takes the advantage or Seth takes Punk out in some way, or maybe Punk has already been taken out by Cena or something like that. It's the reason I say this is because I can't see the main event of Mania. I just don't know what the fuck it is.
And is that a good or bad thing?
I think right now it's not a bad thing because WWE learned from last year that to call your shot too far ahead, although we would all have been just happy if you just let Cody wrestle for the fucking title. We would have been fine back then. But it was all we were talking about, wasn't it? And we did get that tag match on night 1 with The Rock carrying that stupid belt, which he seems to have dropped, which is great news. I guess somebody won the people's belt.
That was back. Muhammad Ali came back. And
I'll have that back. You break it down like this. For me, the names that I could see wrestling Cody are Cena, Punk, Seth Rollins.
Honestly, I can see any of them bar Priest and Paul. I could even see Drew.
Priest and Paul are definitely not doing it.
Priest and... I think we can all say straight away, Priest and Paul ruled out. It comes down to Cena, Punk, Drew and Seth.
See, if this were in a year's time, I would say maybe Paul. If Cena was not there, if Punk had another bit of business, if Punk has had the main event, then I would say Paul's a possibility.
Yeah.
Because huge headlines, huge views, be a great match, regardless of what you think about it. But we're not there yet. It's good to see him in this position, in all fairness, because fuck it, the boy's talented. I hate saying it.
I hate saying it. Yeah, he's entertaining. He has his character and he plays it, and he annoys people.
Punk.
Yep.
Slaps Punk on Monday. Great way.
He'll get his comeuppance for that.
I think he will. Do you know what? I just have this overwhelming feeling that they're not going to give Punk the main event. They're not going to give him the world title.
Do you know what, Billy? This is my perfect opportunity to say, part of me hopes, and I can't believe I'm saying this. Part of me hopes he doesn't, because I am officially going to WrestleMania 42.
What?
And I would like to see CM Punk in his main event when I am there in person. So I am being selfish, and I'm saying,
Say no more.
You can wait another year.
say no more. You heard it here. Direct quote. Get in the dirt sheets. Fuck CM Punk. I do not want him to win the world title.
Coming from the #1 CM Punk stan this side of the fucking Atlantic.
Go to sleep for this year, Punk. And save us it all. Main event next year.
We'll see you in New Orleans. It's so difficult. The thing is, I look at this card and I go, right, what's everybody doing at Mania? What's Drew doing at Mania?
What's Drew doing at Mania?
What's Logan doing at Mania? Is it going to be AJ Styles? Is it going to be Punk? Is it going to be Cena? What is Priest doing at Mania? What is Rollins doing at Mania? I'm like, what is everybody doing at WrestleMania? That is what I don't understand.
The idea of The Rock being this heel Obi-Wan Kenobi to somebody is quite interesting. God, imagine it was him standing next to Drew. You'd be like, oh fuck!
But see, that made a lot. Remember the whole like The Rock was the one that delivered the contract to Drew. He gifted him the sword, and there was the interview where it was like somebody caught The Rock somewhere. I think it was like TMZ, and I'm like, "Who's your guy in WWE just now?" And it was like Drew McIntyre. Like he said, it's Drew McIntyre. Like, is there something? Like, is there something there? Is there something there?
So I have got to say, for Elimination Chamber again, fuck me, I cannot pick a winner. I'm gonna. Do you know what? I'm gonna chuck out a surprise. I just get this vibe. It's not gonna be Punk, and I can't help but shake the feeling it's not gonna be Cena.
Well, that brings me to what my I was going to give my final prediction.
Go on then.
And it's not Punk.
It's not Punk.
And it's not Cena.
Oof.
I'm predicting Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins is going to win the Elimination Chamber.
I think
we're going to get Cody and Rollins. Rollins, who is just as deserving as any of these guys, for his one-on-one Mania main event. I think that it plays into the whole thing with The Rock.
Yep.
It makes a lot of sense considering what happened last year.
Yep.
And it's somebody who could easily dethrone Cody at Mania.
And there it is. There's a lot of story here. I hate Punk. I had to go through all that shit with CM Punk. I've been looked over for world title shots. I got fucked over in Mania. I was your shield, Cody. I was your shield. So there we go. Although they were kind of leaning into Seth versus Roman Reigns at Mania. Maybe we'll see that. Who knows? We haven't heard it much from Roman Reigns in regards to this whole shenanigans. So is this?
Like I've predicted Seth to win it now. I'm like, well, what does Roman do?
Oh, fuck it. Do you know who's winning it? Logan Paul. Give the boy the title. It's time. It's time.
Imagine, like, what would you do if, like, Damien Priest won?
I'd be disappointed. I'm not going to lie. It's not a knock at the bisexual Undertaker. It is a knock at... It just doesn't feel like it's his time. It just doesn't feel like it would be right. And looking at the backlash against Jay, which people are being fucking like, oh, it's just an entrance. If it wasn't for his entrance, it's like, the boy can wrestle though. Oh, no, he can't. What? Since when did Jey Uso not be able to wrestle? When did that fucking start being a narrative?
Don't get me wrong, like sometimes we just see the 5 moves of doom Jey Uso, but this is a guy that has been arguably the best tag team wrestler of all time. And listen, it is what it is. I just don't think they'll beat us with another disappointment in this. They've got to cook up something good. And then it'll obviously lead in. I don't know what's going to come first. The segment or the chamber match. Will the show end on The Rock? Probably. We know how Dwayne likes to operate. So it'll all come full circle, Billy. If you were to give one big prediction for the night in general, after everything is said and done, how do you see this all panning out? How do you see Cody's night ending, Dwayne's night ending, and the Mania match lining up? What is your overall prediction for the night?
It's so tricky. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about the Cody and Rock. If it was at the end of the show, we could see Punk and we could see Roman Reigns involved.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because imagine that favor was called in. Yep. Imagine that favor was called. Imagine the rematch clause was invoked for WrestleMania. Music hits, and here comes CM Punk going, Paul, I'm going to have to ask for that favor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to ask for that favor, and I want it to be WrestleMania.
Right.
Do you know, maybe we're going to see something like that. That would be a way of getting Punk into that match. I know that would disappoint. But I can't pick it because of the Rock being so combustible. I don't get where that segment's going. I don't see a Cody heel turn coming. I really, really don't. Fuck. It's nice we're talking about the world title though. It's nice we're talking about the WWE Championship and that match. So overall night, I think we're going to get some questions answered. We have to. We're 6 weeks out. We have to get some questions answered. So I think we need to get our main event locked in. Will it just be the clear elimination chamber? If it is, it's Uncle Paul. It could be Punk that goes in there, but I just don't see it being Cena. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hard.
It is really. This is probably.
Do you know what? I like it. I'm glad because even though a couple of minutes ago when
we were into this at Mania, we were into this at the Rumble. I should say we both liked where this was.
Yeah, and a couple of minutes ago when I predicted Seth, now I hear him a couple of minutes later going, well, will it be Seth? I don't know. It's just, I like that though. I like that. So everybody in the comments section, let us know who you think will win the match. Let us know how you think Dwayne and Cody will pan out. There's a lot that can be done, Billy.
Who do you think would win? Who do you want to win? That's and I think that's where we're stuck with two very different questions.
Yeah.
Two very different questions. And we would love to know what you think. But do you know something? Look at that. It's time. The bell is ringing. Vince McMahon. Oh, there's a Vince McMahon on the phone. I tell you what, I must have gone through all the list of people in wrestling and he finally got to me. So I'll just send that answer phone, I think. But listen, we always love to hear from you. If you have any questions or any topics or anything at all you would like us to talk about in the next episode of Wrestling Forever, remember, it's a completely open universe right here. All you need to do is put it in the comments. You can also find Ryan Fitzsimons also on social media. Is it Ryan Fitzsimons 1? I can't remember. What is it?
My @ on Twitter is @RyanStephenF2. That is my @. My middle name's Stephen.
Who the hell?
That's my gimmick name.
What? Gimmick name. Shocked, disgusted. You can find him, of course, on social media. I'm at Billy Kirkwood, comedian on most things. You can find me on there. If I've not been shadow banned, not sure yet. But I always like to say it.
Vince will get to you soon.
Vince will get to me soon. Any minute now. Any minute now. I'm going to make you the champ, kid. Vince, I don't think that's a good idea. You are the last person. You are the only person that's answered the phone. You're the only person. Even Bushwhacker Luke said no. He's barely alive, Vince. All that's left to say is we will see you the next time right here on Wrestling Forever.